Okay, let's talk Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got huge problems, but they have a new proposal. It's called extension blocks. When people talk about the block size debate, the size of blocks or how many transactions can be processed at any given time, and then what is this really about? It's about control of Bitcoin. First, let's discuss this. The current Bitcoin network limits the amount of block size transactions added to the ledger to 1 megabyte. The miners who run the network are responsible for adding transactions to the Bitcoin ledger. They want to increase that size limit. There have been different proposals over the years to exactly what the new cap should be. The developers, on the other hand, have been wary that raising the threshold could harm Bitcoin's decentralized properties and make it more subject to the influence of particular institutions, groups, or individuals, or countries, or other entities. Plus, boosting that limit would require what is called a hard fork, which runs the risk of splitting the network and creating two versions of Bitcoin, and likely harming its value in the process. Especially if it's done without widespread support. The developers backed a proposal called SegWit, or segregated witness, to make the blocks more efficient, thereby enabling more transactions per block, and that wouldn't require a risky hard fork. So, keeping these different considerations in mind, the CEO of Bitcoin enabled Amazon discount site Purse, which backs the extension block idea, said the beauty of this proposal gives everyone what they want. So extension blocks, what they do is they enable bigger blocks. Plus the version suggested implementing SegWit, and it doesn't require a hard fork. What they say is that the goal for them is to move Bitcoin forward, but at the same time keep it safe. The way extension blocks work is they process more transactions outside of the 1 megabyte block size, and they peg them to each block on the main Bitcoin blockchain. So it's almost like some sort of a piggyback block to the 1 megabyte. So you got your 1 megabyte block, right? And 1 megabyte contained inside it, and somehow they're going to piggyback more information to that block as it goes into the blockchain to become verified. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but that's what they want to try to do. Well, you see, there's a big problem with Bitcoin right now, and there's a lot of debate over this. They can't really settle on one issue. They can't really settle on the other. They can't settle on anything. What they're going to do is they're not really doing anything. And Bitcoin is growing exponentially, and what they're going to run into is a wall, and where they have to do something. And when they do that, I think, now this is my personal opinion on this, that Bitcoin is going to, I think we've only seen the first tremor in the price drop, and when it dropped down from 12, I think it's 1250. And the price dropped. You remember when the price dropped? I think that's the first tremor. I think that the second tremor is coming, and we're going to see a bigger price drop. I personally think that, honest to Pete, I think that Bitcoin could get cut in half. Really, honestly, it could actually get cut in half in price. Now, I've watched Bitcoin for a long time, and Bitcoin will recover from this. And when it recovers from this, it'll recover stronger. This might be a really, really great buying opportunity. That's what this might represent, a really great buying opportunity for people who are not in Bitcoin now to wait until this storm is over and they settled this issue. And at the bottom, when they're settling this issue, they're apt to knock Bitcoin in half. Seriously, they're apt to knock it in half. They're gonna not settle this issue until finally they bust this issue open and they actually knock Bitcoin price in half. I think that's what could happen. And at that point, buy in, right? It'd be a good opportunity to buy in. And then Bitcoin will end up in the end going back higher than it ever was before, because that's what it always does. That's what it always does. Well, I shouldn't say always, but that's what I've always seen it do. And so going by past experience, I would say that you buy in, and then what you'll do is Bitcoin will probably go up to maybe 1,400 or something after this is all over. So thank you very much for listening. And what you got to do is keep your eye on this and look at it as a buying opportunity. If they don't get things settled and they knock the heck out of Bitcoin and they really damage it, it will spring back. But that might be your really big, might be your last big buying opportunity. Okay, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next article. Bye.